All righty, we are live for the first game of the year. Let me make sure everything's good. Let me apologize here in a second for some stuff. Um, holy gosh. Let me. No. Bad phone. What is up, everybody? Welcome. It's my fourth year here. I'm pretty excited to be back. I'm not excited for tonight, but not because of the game. I'm excited because I am sick as a dog. And if I was here last week, unfortunately, I couldn't do this last week. I wouldn't have done this tonight. I cannot hear, and I cannot. My brain isn't working too well. I'm going to bed after this. I wanted to stay. I was super excited for Mississippi State, Arizona State, but I got to go to bed, man. So, and then while some people pile in here, is it just me or college football games taking way too long? How did you cut out the first down clock stops? And the Bama game took, 4 hours? Good God. But welcome in, everybody. You're listening to Alabama Postgame Live, the voice of college football. I'm Zach Ramelius, back for year 4 of this. Holy cow, does the time fly? And my hair is a disaster. Again, I'm sick as a dog. Please don't make fun of me. And if you do, I'll be very mad because that's very mean. Where to begin? Do we want to start positive? Do we want to start negative? Welcome in, everybody, to the Voice of College Football channel. No, there was a penalty on every play. Oh, my God. We'll pull up those stats here in a little bit. Voice of College Football brought by MarkRogersTV. Want to thank Mark again for letting me come back for a fourth year. You guys know how if you've been here before, you know how I like to do this thing. I kind of just show up when the game ends. I get the stats ready. I make some banners because, I want to look a little prepared. I have my notes. Yes, Jackson, love that energy. Let me pull you up. Let's get this channel to 3,000 subs. I mean, why not? I mean, I'm a likable guy, I think. I don't know. Don't ask my ops, but I think I'm pretty likable. Hopefully they hear the part where I'm sick as a dog. Hopefully I sound okay. If I sound bad, let me know, please. I've taken so many Lutons today. They might as well give me a sponsorship. Come on, that was a good joke. All right, well, let's dive into it because I want to go to bed before the earth explodes, because apparently college football games are going to take until the end of time to finish up now. Lordy, I mean, Mizzou and Illinois started at 6-2, and those games were done half an hour ago. Yes, I'm a little crabby because of all that, but let's talk about the game. All righty, final score. Come on, laptop. There you go. Alabama 42, USF 16. Is this the biggest example of all time of the score does not match the game? Well, let's dive into the stats a little bit. 393 yards for Alabama. That's pretty okay. No one can really be mad at that, right? Only 309 yards for USF. I'm not going to be entirely negative here. It's not what I want to do. That's not easy to do. But the thing I'm going to give Alabama a lot of credit for tonight, and I'm going to be very negative tonight. That was worse than last year, despite the score. They ran it up at the end. Cool. I thought sideline to sideline they did pretty well. Brown has oh my God. Ugh. Brown doesn't have great arm talent. I think he's a very productive G5 quarterback. I think he could play like at a mid-tier ACC, SEC level. So a lot of their passes go side to side. I'm talking screens, little dump offs to the running back. I think Alabama in that regard did very, 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 very well. Byron Brown only averaged 2.5 yards or 2.9 yards per completion. He wasn't getting anything downfield. We'll talk about that in a second. Running the ball, he only averaged 4.7 yards per carry, long of 20. So nothing. The explosives weren't there for USF, and it kind of cost them as the game went along. And I think Alabama did a great job on third down. Jackson brought it up here. My laptop mouse wants to work. UCF, you're not going to win. You're not going to pull off an upset like this, going 2 for 18 on third down. It's just not going to happen. But for all the Alabama fans that are out there, and if you're listening live, comment. If you're not listening live, you're listening to it back on all your favorite audio platforms. Laptop, seriously, because you can catch this on all your favorite audio platforms now. Are any of you happy with that performance? I think it was worse than last year's USF game. That was in the rain. That was on the road. Milroe didn't play. Saban was trying to prove a point with Tyler Buckner. That was worse than last year. Starting on defense, yes, I think side to side, Alabama looked very fast. They rallied to the ball well. I think they played a good football. But I didn't do the Western Kentucky game. I couldn't watch it live from where I was. Sorry, I'm reading some comments. But Western Kentucky had some dudes running open. It's just thankful that TJ Finley stinks. In the first quarter of this game, Brown missed on 2 deep shots that were wide open. Looking at the quarterbacks on Alabama's schedule moving forward, Nico hits that throw. Nussmeier hits that throw. Jackson Arnold hits that throw. Brady Cook hits that throw. Carson Beck hits some of these throws. The Alabama secondary's got to clean it up. They just do. They got it done today. They looked fast and they looked athletic moving side to side. But Brown missed some throws that their quarterback's coming up. They will hit those throws. And there'll be touchdowns or huge chunk plays that will lead to scores. And if your offense is going to play like that, we're going to have issues. Speaking of the offense, last year was way worse. I disagree just because you're at home. You had Milroe, and I thought it was a really cowardly decision. I thought Golish, when they were down 21-13 and driving, I thought Golish played that first and goal to the field goal cowardly. I think he didn't show any faith in his team. You ran the ball 3 straight times. You hadn't run the ball really well all night. You kicked the field goal inside the 10-yard line as a 31-point underdog. And Bama came right back, and Ryan Williams made a hell of a play and ended the game at 28-16. There was another throw. I'm thinking of throws he missed. Another one, Jesse Palmer pointed out, touchdown Boise State. There was a fade that he just missed because he was looking over the middle. I just don't think he's a good quarterback. I think he's a really good athlete. He might get there. Golish is a good QB's coach, but he's just not good. So I think the defense got torched at times. Deep, I just don't think Byron Brown is a quarterback that could hit those throws, which maybe is part of the plan. But I personally wouldn't make that part of the plan. But outside of that, and those are some isolated plays, but again, when you face Carson Beck, when you face Nico, when you face Brady Cook, when you face Garrett Nussmeier, you face Jackson Arnold, Peyton Thorne's not hitting those throws, granted, but those guys will hit those throws. So just clean it up. You got time. Tyler Van Dyke's not hitting those throws. He stinks. So next week, I actually think you're playing a worse team. Credit to USF. They played really, really hard for like 54 minutes. And then Alex Golish, I think, gave up on that touchdown, on that field goal, and Bama took full. I think once they kicked the field goal, it kind of felt like USF just went, we lose. It's over. That was pretty sad if you're just a neutral fan of college football. Kind of looking at chat here. So Formby, he was awful. He was awful tonight. The entire offensive line was out. You can tell they need Proctor badly. He was terrible. Offense is flat, 100. Yeah, that's part of the reason this game took 4 hours. All the penalties. And you know what? USF fans, you can't even call Brian Denny refs because not really. Alabama had 13 for 120. This is like my years are starting to get mixed up, so forgive me, especially when it comes to hyper-specific stuff like this. Was it 2022 when Bama just had crazy penalty issues, or was that 23 or 21? I forget which year I was doing this, and they just had crazy stupid penalty issues that didn't make any sense for how well coached Alabama normally is. Apologize, I'm be drinking water all night. So going back to you guys, chat, was there at any point did you honestly think Bama was going to lose this game? I didn't. I'll be honest. I never actually thought Bama was going to lose, even when they fumbled at like the half-yard line. Yeah, I'm just trying to remember. It was Tennessee in 2022 where they had like 140 yards of penalty, like two crazy amount. Yeah, it just felt like, especially under Bill O'Brien, who I defended. I feel really bad about that now, but moving on. Was there at any point for the Bama fans out there, or if you're just a neutral observer, did you think Alabama might lose this game? I didn't. Like I said, even when Milroe fumbled at the half-yard line, why are you going under center? Just run QB power from the gun. I don't understand it. I don't think Nick Sheridan had a great game. I don't think DeBoer had a great game. Why? Why are you testing Alabama testing a center right there? Anyway, they dropped the fumble. I just didn't think USF was really going to be able to do anything. I also thought Bama could go get a touchdown if they really needed one. And you saw at the end of the game, they got 3 in 5 minutes. Yeah, they kind of at the end of the game there just kind of did whatever. But yeah, is anybody happy? Like, this is where the fun begins for Kalen DeBoer. Like, the vibes have been great. You know, things are more relaxed at practice. It's a totally different energy around the Alabama football program. But now you go out and you put up kind of a clunker. You're going to have the box score watchers who say, oh, they won 42-16. They must have dominated. No, that was an ugly, ugly, ugly performance. And now you go to Wisconsin. You'll probably win that game because Wisconsin stinks. I watched all of their game against Western Michigan because I'm me. They stink. Tyler Van Dyke stinks. Luke Fickell is a really good head football coach. I just don't think it's working at Wisconsin. I think it's hard to flip what Wisconsin was into what Wisconsin wants to be like that. I think if they give Fickell like 5 years, it might work out. But how many coaches are given 5 years? But and then you got a bye week, and then Georgia. So here's where it is for DeBoer. All right, you're facing your first adversity. People know you stunk this game. What are you going to do at practice? Is there anything they can do against Wisconsin that'll make you feel better? I mean, obviously short of beating them like 63-3, but I don't think any of us think that's going to happen. I think this game is going to kind of go like if maybe a little bit worse score-wise, but kind of like how the Ohio State-Wisconsin game went last year. I'm not to preview that game too much, but Wisconsin kind of hung around for a little while, and then but like never really felt like Ohio State was going to lose. Clean up the penalties, yeah, that would be a thing. And next week's on the road. You know, Camp Randall's going to be hot. It's going to be buzzing, despite being at 11 a.m. I've been to an 11 a.m. game at Camp Randall. That place is still on fire. It doesn't matter. But man, I don't know. Like, can they do anything next week? Which, against, I honestly believe a lesser team. I think Wisconsin is not as good as USF. I just don't. I think USF's honestly. I don't have their schedule pulled up. I know they're in the AAC and they play like Memphis and whatever. Memphis isn't a bad team, and Tulane gave Kansas State all they could handle today. So I don't have their schedule pulled up right in front of me. But if they win 10, 11, 10 games, they're going to be in that G5 discussion. And people are going to point to this game where they said, hey, for 54 minutes, they were even basically with Alabama on the road. So, whatever. We'll find out next week. We'll talk. We need to talk more about USF. But first, I'm gonna pull up a little thing here for you guys for a new selection we have here for the voice of college football. My laptop. I need a new laptop so bad. If anybody knows any great deals, please, I insist. But we'll play this little video for you guys. Keep tuned in because this is a great opportunity and a great thing for our channel as we continue to grow and become a bigger network.
College football is even more exciting with some action on the line. And the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the voice of college football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Let's start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread. I've got a 40-year track record. In fact, in 2023, at $100 played per game, you would have netted over $9,300. And guess what? I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill, our ace in the hole, show stopper from Wager Talk. 6 years with the voice of college football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick, which went 21-5 against the spread the last 2 seasons. I repeat, 21-5 against the spread. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Steve Dace and Matt Zemek. Become a YouTube channel member or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2024 a winner now.
You heard the man. Listen to him. He knows what he's talking about. Mark's one of the smartest people in the college football world. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to bet. He knows what he's talking about. He has a great team here that know what they're doing, know what they're talking about. So subscribe, man. Come on. What are you doing? Why are you not doing it already? Also, we have a new show. Mark likes to do the late shows, and he's on all the time. But he does. Good Lord, I am so tired. He does have a new morning show, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. The College Football Show with Mark Rogers. He'll be here. He'll be talking. And it'll be really fun. And you should listen because why wouldn't you? Go. What are you doing at work? What are you doing? Are you really that busy? I'm not. I'm actually changing jobs. So I have nothing to do for the next week. It is like thank you, Jackson. It is like, Jackson, I DM'd you. I could not figure out how to make that thing work. And I just found out it's not in my brand folder. So that was nuts. Okay, back to this stuff though. Wisconsin will be a rough place for Alabama. I don't have Winsipedia pulled up. I remember in 2015 they played in Cherry World. Didn't go well for Wisconsin, as it never does. I'm going to bring up this too. Don't forget to tell your friends about the under the radar picks from Steve Merrill. Steve Merrill is 23-5 in the under the radar picks. And also, don't listen to me about this because I did not do well this week. Do listen to Mark, though. And as I knock my laptop around my table, holy cow, starting to sweat. Yeah, but Camp Randall will be a tough place to play. I think Alabama gets off to a slow start, but eventually they win 31-13, something like that. But let's go into some individual players tonight. I forget who it was. Some national media guy talked about how he was a little shocked that with the schedule they have coming up, which they have a bye week, they're a little surprised at how much Jalen Milroe they had designed runs. I've said it before. I think USF's better than Wisconsin. So I think it's okay. And it wasn't like he was crazy with it. He did have 12 runs for only 2 yards. I would guess half of them were designed. He took a lot of hits tonight, a lot of pressures. That offensive line for Alabama got worked at times by Todd Orlando. I was like, whoa, that's a name. Did not, I read a ton about, I was looking up some stuff about USF, the last couple days, and just was not clicking with Todd Orlando. Jam Miller, 15 carries for 140 yards. A lot of that came at the end of the game. It's just so hard because you're going to look at some of these team totals and you go, oh, the stats look pretty good. And then you realize, oh, no. Jam Miller, 56 of Jam Miller's yards came on a touchdown when the game was over. Hard game to really judge if you just look at a box score because Bama did not play well, man. If you think last year was worse, fine. Fine. I'm not going to argue with you. I will, but if I was feeling better, but I just don't have the vocal cords to yell and scream tonight. I just don't think it was. I think Bama played really badly, and I think this effort gets you beat. How many teams on Alabama's schedule does this effort get you beat by? Georgia, Tennessee, OU, Missouri, LSU on the road. That effort gets you beat. That's 5. And Bama will get better. And obviously, Bama's not losing all 5 of those games. I would be shocked if they lost 3 of them. If they go 3-2 in those games, they should be pretty happy and they'll have no problem making the playoff. But man, that was just such a bad effort all around. Ryan Williams, the positives, the Ryan Williams touchdown to put him up 28-16. That was a hell of an effort. That kid's special, man. That kid's really special. We got a special group of freshmen in college football right now. Smith at Ohio State, Williams. I'm sure there are others. I know the kid at Auburn. But man, I'm just kind of looking at a box score. And see, this is going to be the issue for people that just look at box scores. Oh, you're going to see, Justice Haynes, 13 for 46. Not great, but not too bad. And then you realize, and then if you do it, just even watching the game or dig a little deeper, let me look exactly how 29 yards. So that's minus 20. It's 12 carries, 17 yards before that touchdown. That was not meaningless, but basically meaningless. It made it 42-16. Just not a great game. Milroe, 16 for 26, 2 touchdowns, no picks. We got the full Jalen Milroe experience tonight. Actually, I don't think we got a lot of the good, to be honest. He missed on a lot of deep throws, and some of the deep throws just weren't even close. I think there's a play, and I believe it was in the second quarter, that was emblematic of the Jalen Milroe experience as it currently constructed. Takes a snap. Forget which offensive lineman got beat. It was all night. He makes the same guy miss twice, gets outside, has someone open 13 yards downfield, and it's like a 3rd and 8, and chucks it 20 feet over his head. If Alabama's going to win a national championship, which they can do, they have the talent to win a national championship. There's those blue chip ratings and all this other stuff out there. And Kalen DeBoer is a really good football coach. They can win a national championship. How many first-year coaches win natties? But they can do it. But if that's going to happen, Jalen Milroe between 7 and 19 yards, or even if you want to go 6 and 20, whatever medium range you want to put this at, has to be better. He just has to be better. It doesn't matter what else he can do if he can't be consistently hitting those throws. When this game was still in doubt, it was a grind for Alabama. It was taking them all 3 downs to pick up first. The explosives weren't there. Just not a good game. And I said coming into the stream I didn't want to be negative. But the main positive I'm taking away is the kick return. That was a really good kick return. We had a great punt return, but he freaking fumbled it. Oh, God. Hopefully you guys don't see anything gross. But he fumbled it. And then Ryan Williams' play at the end was to seal it. I mean, after that, it was over. Who really cared? And I thought sideline to sideline, the Alabama defense did a great job. Other than that, I just don't think there's a lot of positives to take away. I mean, if you guys do, please let me know. Like, I want to be positive. And I'm hoping if I'm not, sick as heck. I said heck there. I forget what play was it. I meant to write it down. Oh, it was the same play I was just talking about. When Milroe overthrew a guy like 15 yards out of bounds. He was eyed open for a first. And if they just cut up to the box, you see Sharon going, oh my gosh. Like, I was like, all I can think of is the clip of guy in the Bills press box, former Miami quarterback, Dorsey. And he's just like pounding the desk and screaming and yelling, and they're stick sharing. Oh my gosh. How do you miss that? Which I don't know. That's a throw Jalen Milroe needs to hit in year 2 as a starter. And if Bama has any hope of grinding through this season, and let's be honest, folks, with that schedule, it's going to be hard to win the SEC. So if they go 10-2, make the playoff, they're going to have to win. They're going to play 16 games. And if you want to get through those 16 games, got to clean it up. Or maybe 17 if you make the SEC championship. You got to make those throws. It was the same issue last year. If you can't consistently turn the chains by completing 3rd and 7s and 3rd and 6s, if you're consistently having to grind out 3rd and 4s and 3rd and 3s, your offense isn't going to be great. I trust Kalen DeBoer. I think they'll get it together offensively because Kalen DeBoer knows what he's doing offensively. I mean, Alabama fans, it's been a while. I haven't been on. I've been moving, and I got a new job, and this last 2 months have been crazy for me. And now I'm sick. But this is like the Cincinnati playoff game. I had COVID for that. That was fun. What are your guys' opinions on DeBoer so far? I think he's done a nice job. Recruiting seems to be coming along. And I know that was the big worry because he's never really recruited at this level. And I've gotten all my negative thoughts out. So whatever you guys want to talk about, let me know. I'm not going to stay for much longer. But what do you guys – thanks, boss. They paid me more. So and I got a new place. I clean my apartments on Saturdays. I didn't today because – and I would show you guys the setup. But I got my movie posters up now. Kind of see Indiana Jones over there in the corner. Looks pretty sick. What do you guys think of Kylan DeBoer? I think he's done a really nice job since taking over because it's an enviable situation. Taking over for a legend. It just is. I think, he's like 103-11. And if you take out the COVID year, he's even better. So I agree with Jackson. I think Bama's going to be fine. Will this year maybe be a little interesting with the schedule, with just how inconsistent play-to-play Jalen Milroe is? Maybe. It's a tough schedule, man. Like, OU struggled tonight, and so did a lot of teams, including Alabama. OU struggled against Houston, a Houston team that got whipped by UNLV. I was told Blake Baker was a great defensive coordinator, and he would fix all of LSU's issues. They gave up 20.5 to Nicholls State. Missouri's fine, looked okay, but they've played nobody. Georgia looked great because they're Georgia. Let's see what Clemson did to App State, but Notre Dame looked like crap. Honestly, I think today was a pretty positive day for Alabama fans, except for the game. Because there's teams, if you don't think Bama's going to win the SEC, there's teams that you hypothetically would think they're going to be competing for seeds 5 through 12. One of them's Oregon, and I'm not watching it, obviously, but they're losing to Boise State, and they did not look good last week. Another one's Notre Dame. Notre Dame's a loss away from being out of the playoff. They're not getting in at 10-2 with a loss to Northern Illinois at home. Michigan, probably going to go 8-4. You know, they don't have a quarterback. I don't think a lot of teams are going to be able to block them, so I think they'll be okay, but they're probably done. Penn State looked like crap against Bowling Green. Pretty positive day. If you're looking around that front, except for the game. But the most important thing is you won. You didn't get upset. You have time to go work on things. You have time to go practice. But man, I need the offense to be a little more consistent. That 42 points is maybe the most misguided 42. Not misguided, that's the wrong word. Maybe the most overrated 42 points I've ever seen. Let's see what David said here. Yeah, I think DeBoer's going to be fine. They're going to win a lot of football games. He's going to win a lot of football games. He knows what he's doing. And Oregon's just going to take it to the half. Okay. He's a great coach, and the recruiting's picking up. I just wonder how this year's going to go. I'm not scared. I'm not nervous. I think Bama will be fine, and they'll be in the playoff. But, man, I watched – it wasn't the Tennessee offense against NC State that impressed me. It was the defense, because I think NC State has a decent offense. With Concepcion, and I think McCall's okay, and Smothers is a pretty good running back. And they killed him. Tennessee's going to be a tough game. I think they have a lot of tough games. Missouri's going to be a tough game. Auburn's not going to be a tough game. Did anybody else watch that crap? Holy cow. That was hilarious. All right, guys, I'm going to keep it a buck. Some bad things are about to happen to me, so I'm going to go ahead and hop off. I'll be back next week. I don't work this week, so Jackson, if you're here, if you want to do a pregame show for Wisconsin, I'm all down for it. Just keep me in the loop or message me or whatever, but I promise I'll be healthy by Tuesday. I'm taking enough meds to kill an elephant right now. I'm going to hop off, though. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you all so much for being here. Have a great night. Hope you enjoyed your week 2. This is one of those weeks, man, where it's why you love college football. Thank you, and subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to Mark Rogers TV. Subscribe to our whole network of channels. We have every team you can imagine. It has great coverage and great people, super knowledgeable people, who for the most part are going to be able to hear themselves think, because I can't right now. And you guys have a great night. Thank you so much. Can only say that enough. And I will see you this week to talk about Alabama, Wisconsin. And I will be back, let's see, big noon. So probably be here at 4:45 for an 11 o'clock kick. Goodbye.